Hello and welcome back. This is Marian, your English teacher, and I'm excited to get started with Chapter 2 of this English grammar course. Before we dive in, let's review our last lesson on verbs. Verbs are action words that indicate an action, occurrence, or state of being. They express what is happening and when. They can also express possibilities and conditions. All sentences require a verb. There are three types of verbs: action, linking, and auxiliary. Action verbs are words that indicate an action or possession. A linking verb is used to describe the subject of a sentence. And an auxiliary verb, also called helping verb, is used before action or linking verbs to give extra information regarding the tense or voice of the main verb. Some examples are is, was, been, has, have, had, do, did. Modal verbs are a type of auxiliary verb that are used to indicate necessity, ability, or intention. Some modal verbs are can, could, may, might, must, ought to, shall, should, will, would. All right, time for practice. Can you identify the verbs and their types in these sentences? I run around my neighborhood every morning. In this sentence, we have one verb, run, which is an action verb. It tells you what is happening or what the subject I is doing. She seemed sad today. There is one verb in this sentence, seemed, which is a linking verb. Did you go to the festival? We have two verbs in this sentence. The auxiliary verb did, which is used to ask a question, and the verb go, which is an action verb. You can borrow my jacket. There are two verbs in this sentence, can, which is an auxiliary verb of possibility, and borrow, which is an action verb. I went to the library this morning. There is one verb in this sentence, went, which is the past tense of the verb to go. Go is an action verb. I can't believe you did that. There are three verbs in this sentence. Can't, which is the contraction of the auxiliary verb cannot. Believe, which is an action verb. And did, which is the verb to do. In this sentence, did is not an auxiliary verb. It is the past tense of the action verb to do. Well done! We have finished our review. Now it's time to move on with our lesson on the present simple tense. We use the present simple tense to talk about an action we do regularly. I walk to school every morning. I eat cereal for breakfast. With the present simple tense, when talking about routines or habits, we often use adverbs of frequency. For example, I walk to school every morning. We can also use the present simple to talk about something that is true now. He lives in Paris. This sentence indicates that the subject he has been living in Paris and is in Paris now. We use the present simple tense to talk about something that is always true. The sun is very hot. We can also use the present simple to summarize or describe a book, film, or play. For example, Harry Potter goes to a school for wizards. He makes many friends and fights a bad wizard called Voldemort. In this sentence, we have 3 action verbs in the present tense: goes, makes, and fights. Finally, we can use the present simple tense to refer to future actions. My train leaves at 10 a.m. tomorrow. My classes start next week. To form the present simple tense, we keep the base form or the infinitive, except with third-person pronouns, which are he, she, and it, for which we add an S at the end of regular verbs. For example, I talk, you talk, he talks, she talks, it talks, we talk, you talk, they talk. I see, you see, he, she, it sees. We see, you see, they see. I like, you like, he, she, it likes. We like, you like, they like. For example, I speak to my mom every Sunday. I is a first-person pronoun singular. Therefore, we keep the base or infinitive form of the verb speak. He loves his dog. He is a third-person singular pronoun. Therefore, we add an S to the verb love. Some verbs are irregular. So, if they end in O, CH, SH, TH, or SS, we add ES to the end of the infinitive form of the verb, for third-person pronoun singular still. For example, I go, you go, he goes, she goes, it goes. We go, you go, they go. So notice for he, she, and it, we spell goes G-O-E-S. We spell pushes P-U-S-H-E-S. And we spell reaches R-E-A-C-H-E-S. For example, she misses her dad. The verb to miss ends with two S's. Therefore, we add ES with the third person singular. She always shushes me when we watch a movie. I talk too much. She is a third person singular pronoun, and shush ends with SH. Therefore, we conjugate the verb to shushes. The present simple can also be used to express a feeling that is happening right now, and most often we use the verb to be. I am sad. She is so excited for the summer holidays. The verb be is irregular, and this is how we conjugate it. I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, you are, they are. When learning about tenses in English, it's important to mention contractions. We will discuss contractions further in Chapter 3 of this course, but they do require a big introduction in our lessons on tenses as well. When using the verb to be, we can contract with pronouns in the following way. I am, I'm. You are, you're. He is, he's. She is, she's. It is, it's. We are, we're. You are, you're. They are, they're. For example, she is angry becomes she's angry. It's important to note that both these sentences are acceptable and grammatically correct. In spoken and informal language, native English speakers almost always use contractions. Therefore, we would say, she's angry, not she is angry. We do not use contractions in formal writing. For example, business emails or academic essays. Another example, my mom is in jail. My mom's in jail. As you can see, with the verb to be, we can contract it with a pronoun, but also a proper noun or singular noun. My mom's in jail. Mom's, M-O-M, apostrophe S, is the contraction of mom is. As you can see, we replace the I with an apostrophe. The table is too low becomes the table's too low. Tables is the contraction of table is. Practice time. Can you choose the correct sentence? He wants to go home. He want to go home. The first sentence is correct. He is a third person singular pronoun. Therefore, we add an S to the verb want. They is meet at a cafe every Thursday. They meet at a cafe every Thursday. The second sentence is correct. In the first sentence, we have the auxiliary verb is, which we do not need when speaking in the present simple. I like your cat. I likes your cat. The first sentence is correct. With the pronoun I, we do not need an S at the end of the main verb. She is so cool. She are so cool. The first sentence is correct. With the third person pronoun she, the verb be becomes is. She is. I are so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. The second sentence is correct. With the first person pronoun I, the verb to be becomes am. I am, which is contracted to I'm. The chair's very comfortable. The chair's very comfortable. The first sentence is correct. Chair's apostrophe S is the contraction of the chair is and is therefore correct. In the second sentence, chairs with an S is just the plural form of the noun chair. There is therefore no verb in the second sentence, which is incorrect because there must always be a verb. A correct sentence would be, the chairs are very comfortable. He pushes me to work harder. He pushes me to work harder. The second sentence is correct. The verb push ends with sh, and we must therefore add es with third person pronoun he. My dog like vegetables. My dog likes vegetables. The second sentence is correct. My dog likes vegetables. Dog is an animal, which is replaced by the pronoun it, and therefore the verb like requires an S at the end. Great work! Now we can move on to learning about how to form negative sentences in the present simple. To form the negative with action verbs, we use the word not with the auxiliary verb do. Subject plus do plus not plus the infinitive verb. Or with third person singular pronouns, he, she, it, we use the construction subject plus does plus not plus infinitive. For example, I do not have a car. He does not believe in ghosts. The first sentence is an affirmative sentence, or also a positive sentence. I have a car. In the negative version of the sentence, I do not have a car. There are a few important things to note from these examples. The first one is, notice how in the affirmative form, we do not use any auxiliary verbs. We only use the auxiliary verb do in a negative sentence. The general rule is we use auxiliary verbs for negative sentences and questions. For example, we love chicken. We do not love chicken. Do we love chicken? The auxiliary verb do is only used in 2 out of 3 of these situations. There is a rare exception. We only use the auxiliary verb do in an affirmative sentence in the present simple tense for extra emphasis. Usually, when someone doesn't believe you about something. For example, I do love chicken. I do. Do is used for emphasis. When a form becomes negative, we can contract it by combining the word not with the auxiliary verb and placing an apostrophe as replacement for the O in not. For example, I do not, I don't. You do not, you don't. He, she, it does not. He, she, it doesn't. We do not, we don't. You do not, you don't. They do not, they don't. Contractions are very important, as we previously mentioned, as they are commonly used in both spoken and informal written English. So it's important to practice using them as much as possible. So, when forming negative sentences with contracted auxiliary verbs, we can use the constructions subject plus don't plus infinitive and subject plus doesn't plus infinitive. I don't know what to do. She doesn't drive to work. Now, how to make negative sentences in the present simple with the verb to be. We use the structure subject plus be plus not. For example, I am not happy. She is not swimming. Similarly to when making negative sentences with the contracted forms don't and doesn't, we can use contractions with the verb to be in the negative form. For example, I am not happy becomes I'm not happy. She is not swimming becomes she's not swimming. There are two different ways to contract the verb to be: with the subject or with the word not. Let's have a look at this chart. With the first person pronoun I, there is only one negative contraction: I'm not. For the second person singular pronoun, there are two ways to contract the negative form of you are. You're not, you aren't. With he, she, it, we can contract the negative form as follows: he's not, he isn't. She's not, she isn't. It's not, it isn't. With the first, second, and third person plural pronouns, we can contract as follows: we're not, we aren't. You're not, you aren't. They're not, they aren't. Both ways to contract are correct. There is no difference between the two except its form. It's important to be able to recognize both to improve your reading and listening comprehension skills. But you are free to choose whichever contracted form feels most natural and easy to you. Let's look at some examples. She is not tired can become she's not tired, or she isn't tired. We can either contract the verb be with the pronoun she, she's not, or we can contract the verb to be with the adverb not, she isn't. All right, time for practice. Here is an affirmative sentence in the present simple tense. I want you to transform the sentence into a negative sentence with contractions. Let's go. They want to go out tonight. In the negative form, with contractions, the sentence becomes, they don't want to go out tonight. I have your pen. This sentence becomes, I don't have your pen. She is satisfied with the outcome. This sentence becomes, she isn't satisfied with the outcome, or she's not satisfied with the outcome. He travels to India every year. This sentence becomes, he doesn't travel to India every year. They're pleased. This sentence can become, they are not pleased, or they aren't pleased. Great job! Now that we know how to form negative sentences using the auxiliaries don't, doesn't, but also the negative contracted forms of the verb to be, let's move on to forming questions. To form questions, we also use the auxiliary verb do, but at the beginning of a sentence. We switch the subject with the auxiliary verb. For example, do you want some chewing gum? Does your sister brush her teeth every day? We can also form questions with the question words what, where, when. In which case we follow this word with the auxiliary verb do or does, then the subject, then the infinitive verb. For example, when does your party start? Where do you study? For questions that already have an auxiliary verb, we switch the order of the verb and the subject to follow the structure auxiliary verb plus subject plus infinitive. For example, she can help is an affirmative sentence. When making it into a question, it becomes, can she help? We should go home becomes, should we go home? We must give it back. Must we give it back? Well done. Practice time. Can you change these affirmative statements in the present simple into questions? We want a cup of coffee. Do we want a cup of coffee? She wants to play. Does she want to play? She should walk to the gym. Should she walk to the gym? Your dog likes cheese. Does your dog like cheese? My brother can paint very well. Can your brother paint very well? We prefer candy to chocolate. Do we prefer candy to chocolate? The party is on Saturday. Is the party on Saturday? Or we can also ask, when is the party? Notice that the question word when is before the verb is. Her bag is under the bed. This sentence becomes, is her bag under the bed? We can also ask, where is her bag? Great work with this practice. Now we have one last part of the lesson to look at. Interestingly, there are two different ways to talk about possession or ownership. We can say, I have a pen, or I have got a pen, which is generally contracted to I've got a pen. In American English, to indicate possession, we do not use the word got. We use I have, you have, he, she, it has, we have, you have, they have. I don't have, you don't have, he, she, it doesn't have. We don't have, you don't have, they don't have. Do I have? Do you have? Does she have? Do we have? Do you have? Do they have? For example, I have 3 cats. I don't have 3 cats. Do you have 3 cats? Contrastingly, more often in the UK or in British English, to indicate possession, we add the word got. I have got. I haven't got. Have you got? With the pronouns he, she, it, has got, hasn't got, has she got? For example, I have got 3 cats. I haven't got 3 cats. Notice how haven't is the contraction of have not. And finally, have you got 3 cats? Both these ways to indicate possession are grammatically correct and acceptable when speaking English. It's important to practice both in order for you to recognize them when you read them or hear them. Well done! Now we can move on to our task-based practice. Here is a clip from the popular American sitcom Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We will be watching this clip once at normal speed, then a second time a little slowed down. Your task is to write down or identify all the uses of the present simple tense. Are you ready? Let's go.
I've been going at him for 6 hours. He won't say a word. The guy's a brick wall.
Not to worry, Sarge. I'll take it from here. Hope you boys brought popcorn, because I'm about to put on a show. Well. I hear you don't like answering questions, Marcos. That's fine by me, because I'm not asking. Oop, handle fell off. Let me scrap that. Nope. So, looks like we're locked in. That's bad news for you, because you're trapped in here with a psycho. Has anyone tried it from the outside?
Lock's broken. Gotta call facilities.
Copy that, no rush. As I said, I got all the time in the world. It's a little warm in here, right? Do you feel any air coming out of that vent? I got nothing. We got an ETA on facilities?
At least 45 minutes.
And they've checked all this paint for lead, right? And the room for asbestos? I feel like I'm sucking on a tailpipe in here. Marcos! Everybody get away from the mirror! Come on! I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Hey, calm down, man. I'll confess. Just stop freaking out.
What?
I did it. I robbed him.
Boom! And that's how it's done. I was faking the whole thing to break him. I could have stayed in here forever.
Good, because facility's gonna be a couple hours.
We're gonna die in here!
Now, let's listen to the clip again, slightly slowed down to give you more opportunity to identify the present simple. Let's go.
Going at him for 6 hours. He won't say a word. The guy's a brick wall.
Not to worry, Sarge. I'll take it from here. Hope you boys brought popcorn, because I'm about to put on a show. Well. I hear you don't like answering questions, Marcos. That's fine by me, because I'm not asking. Oop, handle fell off. Let me scrap that. Nope. So, looks like we're locked in. That's bad news for you, because you're trapped in here with a psycho. Has anyone tried it from the outside?
Lock's broken. Gotta call facilities.
Copy that, no rush. As I said, I got all the time in the world. It's a little warm in here, right? Do you feel any air coming out of that vent? I got nothing. We got an ETA on facilities?
At least 45 minutes.
And they've checked all this paint for lead, right? And the room for asbestos? I feel like I'm sucking on a tailpipe in here. Marcos! Everybody get away from the mirror! Come on! I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Hey, calm down, man. I'll confess. Just stop freaking out.
What?
I did it. I robbed him.
Boom! And that's how it's done. I was faking the whole thing to break him. I could have stayed in here forever.
Good, because facility's gonna be a couple hours.
We're gonna die in here!
Well done. Let's break down this clip still by still to find the present simple tense. He won't say a word. The guy's a brick wall. There is one use of the present simple tense in a contracted form. Guy's. The guy's a brick wall. Guy's is the contraction of guy is, which is the verb to be in the present simple tense. Hope you boys brought popcorn. In spoken English, it is common for speakers to not use a pronoun or mention the subject of a sentence. This sentence should be, I hope you boys brought popcorn. The verb hope is an action verb in the present simple tense. 'Cause I'm about to put on a show. I'm is the contracted version of I am, which is the verb to be in the present simple tense. I hear you don't like answering questions, Marcos. We have two verbs in the present simple tense. I hear, which is an action verb, and you don't like, which is a negative contracted form with the verb to like. That's fine by me, 'cause I'm not asking. In this sentence, that's fine. That's is the contracted version of that is, which is in the present simple tense. In the last part of the sentence, I'm not asking, I'm is not a present simple verb. It is part of the present continuous, I'm asking, which we will learn more about in our next lesson. Clears throat. This is a caption for the picture. Clears is in the present simple tense. So, looks like we're locked in. Once again, the subject of the sentence is not indicated. The sentence could be, so, it looks like we're locked in. It looks. Looks is a verb in the present simple tense with an S at the end, as it follows the pronoun it. That's bad news for you. That's is the contraction of that is. 'Cause you're trapped in here with a psycho. Your is the contraction of you are, which is the verb to be in the present simple tense. Lock's broken, gotta call facilities. Locks is the contraction of lock is. As I said, I got all the time in the world. In this sentence, we have the verb got, which is in the present simple tense. Because this is informal, spoken, quick language by a native speaker, technically the grammatically correct sentence would be, I have got all the time in the world, or I have all the time in the world. But this is just how native speakers speak sometimes. We omit words in the name of ease. Copy that. It's a little warm in here, right? It's is the contraction of it is, and therefore in the present simple tense. Do you feel any air coming out of that vent? This question is in the present simple and starts with the auxiliary verb do. It follows the structure do plus subject, you, plus infinitive verb, feel. I got nothing. We got an ETA on facilities. Once again, we have the verb got twice in these sentences and question. I feel like I'm sucking on a tailpipe in here, Marcos. The verb feel is in the present simple. I'm sucking is not the present simple. Once again, it's the present continuous, and am, or the verb to be, serves as an auxiliary verb in this phrase. Don't worry, we will be learning more about the present continuous in our next lesson. And that's how it's done. We have the verb to be in the present simple twice and contracted both times. That's which means that is, and it's, which means it is. Excellent! We have finished this practice and it's time for review. We use the present simple tense to talk about an action we do regularly. For example, I run every morning. We use the present simple to talk about something that is true now, but not forever. I'm sad. We use the present simple to indicate something that is always true. I live in England. We can use this tense to summarize or describe a book, a film, a play. Friends is a TV show set in New York City. And finally, we can use the present simple to talk about future actions. For example, my dance classes start next Monday. With regular verbs, we use the infinitive form of action verbs and add an S to the third person singular pronouns. I talk, you talk, he talks, she talks, it talks, we talk, you talk, they talk. With irregular verbs that end in O, CH, SH, TH, or SS, we add ES to the infinitive verbs that is attached to a third person singular pronoun. For example, I kiss, you kiss, she kisses, he kisses, it kisses, we kiss, you kiss, they kiss. And with the verb to be, we conjugate as follows. I am, you are, she is, he is, it is, we are, you are, they are. To form negative sentences, we follow the constructions subject plus do or does plus not plus infinitive. We can also contract the auxiliary verb with not to create don't or doesn't. For example, my cat doesn't like salmon. With the verb to be, we can create negative sentences by following the construction subject plus be plus not plus infinitive. She isn't ready for class. To ask questions in the present simple tense, we place the auxiliary verbs before the subject. For example, do or does plus subject plus infinitive. Do you understand the question? Or another auxiliary verb plus subject plus infinitive. Can we wait outside? Well done! We have finished our first lesson of Chapter 2. Great work on these exercises today, and I look forward to seeing you for our next lesson on the present continuous tense. See you soon!